renewal time, so think about if this is where you still want to be. We can try and negotiate a better deal here, but we also have the chance to look elsewhere.
Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video, the F122 Driver Criminal Williams, episode number 12 today for the French Grand Prix of Season 1. If you missed the previous episode uploaded on Tuesday, Austria, you can go and check that out, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. See plenty more F122 Driver Criminal videos and other F122 gameplay. But coming into this video then, we need to renegotiate our contract with Williams. We also finally see there the levels of HR and personnel.
Here you can make salary demands to the team. Any extra over your base salary will go into your perk fund. The more you demand, the lower the chances of our success. Do make sure that you don't go demanding anything unrealistic for your acclaim level. If you do, the team might refuse to negotiate any more with you in this negotiation period.
Nice little appearance there from Emma. It's usually the only one left, as I've said, these days. We're going to go for a medium risk demand. I think that, we've scored all the team's points. Albon is just not performing in this car, and we've taken this car at sometimes to levels that we thought is impossible. And that's why we've gone for medium risk. 200, that gives a 270 grand perk fund. Can't upgrade the social media team, so we're going to upgrade the development feedback, get some more resource points as well. And just to show you, Albon still here, no changes for anyone, by the way. But he's focused, is 19 focused. Is that what? So no wonder he's not performing well when he's absolutely miserable with 19 focus. R&D wise, minor weight reduction upgrade, that's going to come on as well. We're quietly looking at ERS, but we've got an upgrade coming shortly. And they all come through. So that's brilliant news. 3 upgrades coming in for the French Grand Prix. So we're going to put a drag reduction upgrade. Haven't got any offer on it, but that's the one we're going to do. We don't have enough for that major weight reduction upgrade. Tyre wear is another alternative, but I felt that we could do with some drag reduction as well. Again, we're going to look for, we've got engine power and ERS. Fuel is irrelevant. It's even lower down for me than durability because we get so much fuel now as well. So yes, for me, drag reduction is going to be the one because we are bottom on aero. We could do with a bit more aero. That's going to come in for Belgium as well, so that's going to be crucial. Again, we get this stupid department event asking who our rival is. I'm not going to answer because we're no way we're ever going to be able to beat either Ricardo or Norris because on a consistent basis. Although we have beaten them, the fact of the matter is, without a little bit of carnage, they are in a lot faster car. So we're going to no comment that on. And we're also going to fit on, I should point out, one of the durability upgrade as well, as the weather forecast has a bit of rain thrown into it. And there's the other reason why I've said no comment. Look at McLaren, up to 4th now, ahead of Alfa Romeo, Haas and Alpine. That midfield is so tight. Mercedes are closing in on Red Bull as well. Can Hamilton and Russell perform in that car? We've obviously brought upgrades, but so too have AlphaTauri and Aston Martin as well. AlphaTauri, both of those all really trying to converge on the midfield. So moving to qualifying, then it's a bit overcast for qualifying. France, not a good track for me, I'm not going to be honest. It's just as dreadful, to be honest, as it is in real life. And I've done a Silverstone where I forgot to change the units, but just like at Silverstone and unlike on previous games, we are going to get a run out because we are going to be able to fit them on before the end of the session. So one sole run, it doesn't make much difference because we're still going to be way down anyway here at France, so we might as well save a bit of power units anyway, as well, especially the fact that this is a track, this is actually a high speed track. With we've got potentially this straight here is that Haas gets in the way, He's going to block off the Alfa Romeo there to ruin his lap, but we're coming through at the end of the first sector, and again Schumacher we're 3 and a bit tenths up, so you know we have got some pace around here, but everyone I'm sure is going to be improving. Not that Hassel, I think, is on a cool down lap, has done his lap, but as well. But then of course this straight is so long, you know, with the traction and the speed that the AI can get on this year's game, there's just no chance of me matching them there. And then through this section I can match them there, but then just out of this section it's just horrible. We've actually lost a little bit of time to Schumacher. I'm only 100th or so, but we're still up on Schumacher's time. But then we're going to go into the final section, which is such a horrible. This corner just goes on for years before you finally reach the apex. As well, and I hate this corner as well, because again you hang out there for about 2,000 years before you hit the apex as well. And then we're coming through to the final couple of corners. You know, the pit lane here isn't very flowing, and final corner is well, better than it. You can always gain time on the AI on the slower corners, but and then of course they just traction you through the DRS straight and up to the line, which is further than anything else unusually, and it's only P16 for the French Grand Prix. So yes, Verstappen only slightly faster than Leclerc. Will Verstappen be able to make it 3 in a row? Sonoda's got a penalty as well for something. Stroll DNF, so as I say, I can't show you that because I don't have a replay camera to show you that. So and we'll have to wait and see what we can do. We'll be from at least 15th on the grid. Time for the race for today's French Grand Prix.
Welcome along to France, one of the great racing meccas, host of the world-famous Tour de France, and widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing in the late 1800s. How far we've come since then. As this year's race gets underway, it's time, of course, for the French Grand Prix. The Paul Ricard circuit then is a 3.6 mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected to be going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Sainz, Lando Norris and Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton, Perez, Ocon, Phoenix and Mick Schumacher, Albon, Zhou, Yuki Tsunoda and Lance Stroll, Vettel. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? It's just about time to go to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Natalie Pinkham, what types of strategy do you think we can expect going into today's race?
Well, there's a lot that both driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery system, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
We will try. We're up in P13 as well, so you know. But we have got rain on the way. Haven't done rain at all, but it's only light rain, so you never know. It might not turn to inters as well. So 5 red lights then for the French Grand Prix. We're going to risk it on some mediums until the rain comes. Lights out and away we go. And it's an okay start against Ocon, but then of course they just accelerate past me on the second phase of the start. I'm going to dive down the inside of Ocon, who decides not to give me any room as well, so we're going to keep P13, but then there's been a bit of a kerfuffle with Perez, who's down the order, and I think that's Hamilton as well. All 3 of them as we've gone down the middle of Hamilton and Magnussen. What a move! They were just napping, too busy, fighting each other, and we're able to keep ahead of them. As now Hamilton and Perez, you want to keep the racing line to defend this corner. If you just look at Hamilton, he's just lost 2 positions to Perez and Magnussen. So that's why you defend the racing line there, to not avoid losing positions. As we're watching Max Verstappen, he is leading this race, but he has got both Ferraris bearing down on him. So I mean, he really needs Perez to be up there, but of course Perez down the order with an engine penalty, as Bottas and Russell are fighting up ahead. He's got the 2 McLarens, as you see, they're both running well here, as well, out of trouble for once. And there again, Perez has a go, and this time, you know, he's able to move back to the race. And I'm not going to really fight Perez anyway, he's just blown away. I could potentially fight him, but again, remember the Red Bull driver program. So at this moment in time in Williams, as Magnussen, however, we're not going to give the same courtesy. We're going to give Magnussen his own treatment back at him. He tries to go around the outside in turn 1. We're not having any of that whatsoever. And now Magnussen will look to come back though with DRS as we've fallen out of DRS. We'll squeeze Magnussen to the left hand side, continue on squeezing him as well. He's gone past us though, but this time he hasn't taken up the racing line, and you know, he's obviously got to brake earlier to make the corner as well. We're able to get back up to P9 as well. But this is a huge battle with Magnussen. We're running out of DRS. He's going to squeeze him to the right hand side this time, and then just go right round the outside of this. He takes far too much curbing to give us some space there, as well. As there is Leclerc Sainz, excuse me, in front of Verstappen. So Verstappen has lost the race lead to Sainz as well. So Sainz looking, I think, for his 2nd Grand Prix win of the season as well. But we're coming in the pits here in lap 7, as I said. There doesn't look that rain that they forecast. I think it was a BBC forecast because it hasn't come. So we're going to just go on to the soft tyres. This should give us a bit of pace, but bearing in mind, out of the pits we're going to lose about 3 seconds due to the cold tyres, the igloos that they fitted onto the car. We're going to lose out to Alonso and Magnussen. Alonso has jumped Magnussen in the pits. I don't know where Alonso was before the pit stops, but he's come out of nowhere. Magnussen actually gets him back in front of Alonso with DRS. And that's going to allow us to try and catch up to them as well. Perez, you can see, has got in front of Bottas, who's Bottas has lost out to both McLarens. Down the inside of Alonso, a lovely little move. Very unorthodox place to make a move, because of the fact you've got a DRS straight to come, but against the AI with their OP traction and straight line speed, we're able to, you know, needs must, we're able to get past the Spaniard in the Alpine and move back up into P10. As well, as we're watching a replay, this is Verstappen on Sainz going for the lead, and that's going to allow Leclerc to stick his nose down the inside. Verstappen's unsuccessful in his bid to take the lead away from Leclerc, and then well, basically Leclerc is going to make the successful move and move back to the racing line. That's the move you want to move if you're going to move to the inside there, back to the racing line. And now Sainz, is he going to be a sitting duck for Verstappen as well? He needs to defend to help his teammate Leclerc is comfortable for his own championship's sakes. Sainz needs to gain points on Verstappen, and Verstappen, lovely little move at the fast right-hander down the inside and moves up into P2 as well. For us, our tyres just died. Bottas had an issue as well. So that's unfortunate that this race didn't turn out the way it would be, but then that is Paul Ricard for you. A dreadful track, to be honest, to drive, and it's still a dreadful track to drive on F122 to pick up one pathetic point, although it is one more point than we would have. But I can't help think that if we'd been 16th on the grid, we probably wouldn't have finished in P10 as well. So, you know, the engine penalties and Tsunoda's penalty in the end helped us out there, as Albon lost positions as well. You know, Russell still looking for that first podium, unable to do that. As I say, Sainz leading, you know, that was ultimate capitulation for him. As well, Mercedes making moves, although Hamilton with his penalty, not so great for him, and only P12 for him in today's race. So, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Leclerc has extended his lead to 31 points now for Verstappen, and there's a comfortable 11-point lead over Sainz, and then Perez is way behind. For us, we've lost out to Lando because he got a good position, so keeping Ricciardo behind might be a challenge as well in the closing parts of the season. You know, Aston Martin are on the move, picking up points. AlphaTauri are not, so that's a problem for them. You know, potentially if we get promoted to that team or even the senior team. Although Perez has been consistent, you know, although he hasn't had bad luck, and you know, he did have an engine penalty, so get P6 today after starting down the order definitely wasn't that bad as well. So he has been consistent. He's finally not on the podium. In the end, it's 1, 2, 3 in the championship. You get those top 3 positions. So the next race will be Hungary, and that'll be uploaded next week. I haven't driven Hungary in a race so far, so I'm hoping that with the different nature of this year's game, that we have now the advantage through the corners, slightly over the AI compared to the straights, that we should be able to make some progress finally at Hungary, but that is yet to be seen. And then Belgium will be an absolute nightmare and a half on the Kemmel Straight as well, so we might have to lower the wings there as well. So both of those races will be coming next week. But if you have enjoyed this episode, leave a like, subscribe channel, and you see plenty more F122 Drive Crew mode videos as when they come out. Until next week then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.